how did you get from there with the voting to the, what's the law project name?
Western Center on Law and Poverty.
Western Center on Law and Poverty.
Yeah. Well, so then I went from, I thought, well, we should really be doing organizing at food banks. Look at all these people. They're standing around, they're waiting for food, and they want to talk. So I joined with the Alameda County Community Food Bank, was hiring an organizer right after welfare reform, the federal welfare reform. And I joined them as one of the first anti-hunger advocates in the state of California and really in the whole food bank network. And we started doing organizing and bringing people to Sacramento, and it's, you know, it's addicting when you find ways to help people exercise their right to speak to their legislatures and to testify at hearings. It's if it's done right, it's something you always want to do. I want to do. So I did that for a long time. I led some statewide coalitions. I led the first statewide coalition on against budget cuts when we first started budget austerity here in California in 2004. Sorry. You know, right when Schwarzenegger was coming in and saying, we need to cut the budget back, and we'll do that by cutting social services. I thought it was real important then that we came together as a group and not say, actually cut those social services, right? Or those ones, don't cut ours. Instead of doing that, we came together and said, no, you know what, all of these programs are good and you won't divide us. And so we started a budget coalition then, and that's you know, where my work in Sacramento came from, is from working with individuals and coalitions, and through the years just kind of built some programs and some expertise in some policy areas, and found my way at Western Center on Law and Poverty 4 years ago, where we've passed about 12 anti-poverty bills. I've worked in DC on some, opposing a lot of the cuts, but you know, it's humiliating. It's a humiliating job to be an anti-poverty advocate in Sacramento. You don't have the resources that most people have. You barely win. When you win, it's little, and people suggest that you ought to be happy. When you lose, people kind of throw up their hands. But I'm glad I'm there. I'm glad I'm doing it. It's the right thing to do, and we're not going to stop. And we're more and more holding people accountable for the conditions in California, which are abhorrent. We have the highest poverty rate in the country.
Do we? I did not know that.
We do. If you look at the supplemental poverty rate, which is the poverty rate compared to the cost of living, we have the highest in the country. The highest in the country. We have 25% of the homeless veterans live in California. We have children and pregnant women on the streets in groves. We have the two of the hungriest cities in the country. Bakersfield and Fresno are in the top 5 hungriest cities in the country. In our state, in the breadbasket of the world, we have the hungriest people. It's a shame, and we need to more and more hold our legislators and our governor accountable for that. And the only way we can do that is to raise our voice in our communities. And so that's why I'm excited about days like today and the growing movement that you see people coming together and saying this is not the California that we're proud of, and not just saying what we don't like, but saying what we do want. You know, what we do want is got to be articulated as well.
So what do we want? Say what we do want.
Yeah. So what we don't want is we don't want people to be arrested when they don't have a private place to sleep or rest or sit, and so they have to sleep or rest or sit in public. There's no alternative for them, and taking away their civil liberties, arresting them, taking away their freedom is not an answer to homelessness. It just continues it and makes it worse. And what we want instead is we want to take dollars that are being invested in housing in the U.S. Currently for middle class and upper class households, and invest that as it used to be. for affordable housing. We need affordable housing in every one of our communities, and we need shelters. And when we don't have affordable housing, when it's not an option for someone, we need to offer shelter as an option for them. And at the end of the day, if somebody has a choice of staying on the street, they shouldn't be criminalized for that either. We need to have mental health services that don't leave people without an opportunity in life to have their basic needs met and to be happy and satisfied